Before we get started on today's lesson, I want to make sure you have everything in front of you that you're going to need. You're going to need your pre-quarter, of course. And you need your Wind Songs 1 book because quite often we work in this book. And you're going to need 1 pencil and maybe even 2 pencils. So go ahead and get 2 pencils just in case the lead breaks on one or we happen to need 2 pencils that day. And you're going to need a copy of your homework. So you can have it in a folder like this or a 3-ring binder like this, which makes it easy for you to clip your homework into. All of these things will help you be successful in music class in the weeks to come. This is Wind Songs 1, Lesson 2. This is a very exciting lesson because we're going to be playing our pre-quarter today. But before we get started, I have a rhyme up here for us to do. You probably know this rhyme. It's engine, engine, number 9. But I still want you to listen the first time. So the first time, zip your mouth and listen, and I'm going to pat the heartbeat. Engine, engine, number 9, going down the railroad line. If the train jumps off the track, do you want your money back? Now you might know it a little different than that, but that's the version we're going to use today. So would you say it with me? And let's pat the heartbeat. Here we go. Engine, engine, number 9, going down the railroad line. If the train jumps off the track, do you want your money back? So now let's go over to our pictures of the engine in our heartbeat. So we were patting the heartbeat. And here you see our big heartbeats. And some of these have 2 engines and some have 1. So we're going to do it this way. I want you to put your pointer finger up and I want you to point as I touch them. And then I'm going to ask you a question about why 2 on some and 1 on some. Okay? Are you ready? Here we go. Engine, engine, number 9, going down the railroad line. If the train jumps off the track, do you want your money back? Now, do you have any idea why Miss Jackie would have put 2 engines here, but only 1 when we got there? Let's do it again. And I want you to pat the heartbeat. I'm going to touch the engines this time. Here we go. Engine, engine, number 9, going down the railroad line. If the train jumps off the track, will I get my money back? Did you figure it out? Maybe you did. Did you notice that here I said engine? 1 pat, but there was 2 sounds. Engine. That's 2 sounds, isn't it? My mouth moved. Engine. Here I said 9. 1 sound. You know, last time we learned about ta and tt, didn't we? And we learned that ta gets 1 beat, 1 heartbeat. But tt is 2 sounds in 1 heartbeat. So I'm going to put some tas and tts up here. And let's see how this fits with the rhyme we just did. So if we speak the tts and tas to the rhythm, it's like this. T, 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 ta. Now let's say the words for this top line and see if it fits the rhythm that's up here. Engine, engine, number 9. T, 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 ta. Why, it's the same, isn't it? Because there's 2 sounds in this heartbeat. That means that the rhythm and TTs and TAs are rhythm, that the rhythm is TT here. So we could say TT instead of engine, and we would be saying the rhythm, wouldn't we? Could you do that with me? Can you maybe pat with one hand, point with the other, or just point if it's too confusing to do both? Here we go. T, ta. Do it again. T, ta. Again. T, ta. One more time. T, ta. That's the whole rhyme. You have to go through that many times. If you were saying the words, you would go through once and then you would go again to get the whole rhyme in. So the words determine the rhythm for engine. And we're going to need these TTs and TAs in just a few minutes when we talk about our new song that we're going to learn to play today. But first, let's talk about Beethoven. So last time we heard a piece of music, or the theme from a piece of music, that was written by Beethoven, composed by Beethoven. So when music is written, the person who writes it is the composer. So they compose the music. And you remember the words were really hard, weren't they? It was Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And the words were Beethoven's fifth, Beethoven's fifth, Beethoven's fifth. And you were supposed to count them and see how many you heard. So let's listen to it again and see if you get the same number that you got last time. Here we go.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Beethoven's fifth, Beethoven's fifth,
Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's fifth,
Beethoven's Fifth.
Beethoven's fifth, Beethoven's fifth, Beethoven's fifth, fifth.
Do you remember the song we learned last time about being successful or succeed, the song said? Let me sing it for you again. So I want you to, the first time, just kind of as a review, I want you to listen. And I'm going to pat the heartbeat. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Can you sing it with me and pat the heartbeat? Oh, but before we do that, we need to make sure that we have our singing voice today because we haven't sung a song today. So I want you to be my echo. Say with me, or after me, because you're my echo, my turn first. This is my speaking voice. This is my whisper voice. This is my singing voice. Now remember that you use your singing voice when you sing with me, but we also want to try to match pitch. So we talked about if I'm here and I'm singing the first note, which is me in this song, and it sounds like this. Me, or if, and you're up here or you're down here. You're not matching pitch. So I want you to sing the same note that I'm singing. This is where I am. So try to do that. Here we go. Sing with me. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Okay, so now I want us to look over here at the rhythm I have written up. So on this rhythm, we know that these are TTs and these are TAs. We learned that last time. We learned so much last time, didn't we? I'm going to speak this line of rhythm by myself one time, and then you're going to do it with me. So I want you to listen. Here I go. T, ta, ta, ta. Would you do it with me? I want you to pat the heartbeat. Here we go. T, ta, ta, ta. Let's do it again. Here we go. T, ta, 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 ta. Does the first part of that sound like something we've already done today? T, 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 ta. How about this? Engine, engine number 9. It's the same. How about that? But it's not the same song. It's just the same rhythm. And then it changes because this is our first try song about succeeding or being successful. So when we do this song, we're going to learn it as mi, re, and do. So last time we learned that this was mi. Me. Can you put your hands up like this? Remember that you need to sit up tall and straight. And I don't want any elbows on your legs. And I don't want any elbows squished against your side either. So put your hands just like this and your arms just like I have mine. And it's about at eye level. So it's not way up here and it's not way down here. It's right about where my eyes are. Me. Sing it with me. Me. And then remember, re is like this. Your fingers are slanted. If they were to touch, it'd make a house top. Re. And then, this is the easiest one. Do. Let's do it again. Mi, re, do. All right, so when I do this song, I'm going to do the hand motions and I'm going to sing the words. So you can see how it all fits together. If at first you don't succeed, try, try, try again. So that's 2 me's, 2 re's, 2 do's, and 1 re. Now I'm going to sing it with mi, re, do, and I want you to watch carefully because you're going to do it right after me. Mi, re, re, do, re. Would you do that with me? Mi, re, re, do, re. Let's do it again. Mi, re, do, re. And now the best part, and I know you're dying to do this, pick up your pre-quarter, but this is going to be really hard. I don't want you to play it yet, and I know you're just really wanting to play it, but if you'll listen carefully and follow the directions, we'll get to that part in just a minute. So if you listen carefully, you can be successful. So when you look at your pre-quarter, you're going to blow in this end, and you're going to use your left hand to cover some of these holes. The first hole that you're always going to cover is the one on the back, and that's called your thumb hole because your thumb is going to go right over that. Your thumb is never going to not cover that hole. So, but which hand? I said left hand, but you may not know which is your left hand. So if you look at the pre-quarter, it's really very special because it has stripes right here on this side. It does not have stripes on this side. These stripes are where your fingers go. So your fingers need to be on the same side as the stripes. So if I put my fingers over here on this side, you can see that there are no stripes. So I know that's wrong. That is not the right hand to put there. This hand, which does not go at the top, is going to go right here and just hold on at the bottom. It's not going to cover these holes because that would change the pitch. But it's just going to hold right here. It's not going to cover up the end because air needs to come out there. So just this blank space here is where you're going to put that hand. Your left hand needs to go right here so it's on the same side of the fingers. So make sure that you're doing that and ask an adult to help you to make sure you're doing that. So your thumb is going to always cover the thumb hole. So everybody put your thumb right there. This first finger is going to cover the first hole. That's our first note, and that note is me. I'm going to play the note, and then I'm going to get you to play the note. So for right now, I want you to put your pre-quarter and put it right here. See, it's not in my mouth, is it? This is called chin position, and we use this a lot. So when I say chin position, it means chin. Your pre-quarter is on your chin, not playing. So this is me. I'm going to play the note mi, and then it's going to be your turn. My turn first. Your turn. Isn't that fun? Okay, my turn again. Your turn. Now, if it doesn't sound like my note, me, then that just means that your fingers are not completely covering the holes. And sometimes that takes a few weeks to get used to fingering the holes, to covering them completely. So, what was the name of that note? Me. I hope you said it before I did. Now, let's cover the next hole. Just take the next finger and put it down. So I didn't take these off. These are on here, still on here. Cover the next hole. So if this was me, what do you think that note's going to be? Re. So put it in chin position. So you have 2 holes on top covered and your thumb covered. I'm going to play it, then it's your turn. Okay, it's your turn. Let's play it again. Listen first to me do it. Your turn. Okay, so now we have one more, don't we? Do. That means you're going to add the next finger to cover the next hole. So I have all 3 holes covered on top now, and I have my thumb covered. And my left hand is on the top. So I have these stripes right here to tell me that my fingers are on that same side as the stripes. This is what do sounds like. Your turn, play do. My turn again. Play do. Okay, so do is probably the hardest one to make sound correctly because you have the most holes covered. So to play the song, if at first you don't succeed, try again. To play the first part of the song, which is, if at first you don't succeed. So we're just going to work on that much first. So put your pre-quarter in chin position. It's me, re, do, re. So there's 2 me's, there's 2 re's, and there's 2 do's. And then you go back to re. So 2, 2, 2, 1. Okay? So this is how we're going to learn it. We're going to sing the mi, re's, and do's, and we're going to move our fingers. So when we do chin position, not only do we hold our pre-quarter here, we also move our fingers. So when I say me, my fingers show me. When I sing re or say re, my fingers show re. And when I sing do or show do, my fingers show do. Like this. See how my fingers moved? Now it's your turn. I want you to sing with me and move your fingers. Here we go. Re, do, re. Let's do it again. Here we go. Re, do, re. Okay, this time I want you to blow. When I say play or blow, that means you're doing that in your mouth. Okay, are you ready to do that? I'm going to do it with you. So remember, there's 2 me's, 2 re's, 2 do's, and then we go back to re. Are you ready? Let's give it a try. Here we go. Okay, boy, that was a lot to remember, wasn't it? Let's try it again. Make sure that you have your left hand on top. So the hand that's on the same side as the stripes on your pre-quarter, and make sure your thumb holds covered. 2 me's, 2 re's, 2 do's, then back to re. So we're just going straight down, 2 on each, and then up for 1. Okay, let's try it together. Here we go. One more time. Here we go. Now the second part of the song is mi, re, do, do, do. So 1 mi, 1 re, and then do, do, do. So mi is long, re is long, and then we have do, 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 which is short, short, long. Okay, so chin position for that, right here. I need you to move your fingers, and we're going to sing those pitches and move our fingers as we do it. Mi, re, do, do, do. Let's do that again. Mi, re, do, do, do. One more time. Mi, re, do, do, do. Are you ready to play that much? I think you are. Let's play it together. Ready? Play. Let's do it again. That's the whole song. We haven't put it together yet, but we're going to do that in just a minute. Now I want you to take your book, your yellow book, and I want you to open it to page 11. So page 11 shows you the fingering that we just talked about for mi, re, and do. So in your book, it may not have an M, R, D there for mi, re, do. So if it doesn't, you might want to write that in or have an adult do that for you. It is mi, re, do. Hand signs are right here. And the next page, 2 pages over, they have it on this page. They have the mi, re, do written right there and the B-A-G on top. And we're going to get to B-A-G in a few lessons. But if you need to look at that, the mi, re, do are right here. So what I'm going to do is on this page, the next page, page 12, there's 2 songs. We're just looking at the first song today, and so I've made a big copy of that so we can see it easier. So I'm going to put my big copy up here so we can talk about what you're seeing in your book, and we can all see it together. So here is our song, and here's our rhythm with tas and titis. Now, they also have these lines here that don't have a note on them. So you know those are not notes. That is something we're going to learn about later. It's called a bar line, and we're going to learn about that a little bit later in our lessons. But it just kind of divides the music up into little sections and makes it easier for us to see it. So here are the words, and here's the rhythm. So can we say this rhythm together? Remember the TTs and tas? You can do this, and we can pat the heartbeat. Remember that TT only gets 1 heartbeat. Can you say it with me? Let's just speak the words. If at first you don't succeed, try, try, try again. Okay, so let's try it with TTs and tas. Can you do that? Here we go. T, 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 ta, 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 T, T, ta. All right, that's getting easier, isn't it? Down here, we have the same thing again, but here we have the mi, re's, and do's written underneath. So M is for mi, and they're telling you that. R is for re, and D is for do. Now up here it says clap and say. We don't clap the rhythm, we pat the heartbeat. So we might do things a little different than what your book says, but I want you to do it the way Miss Jackie tells you to do it. So here we have the mi, re's, and do's, but the first thing I want you to do, I know you brought a pencil to music class because that was something that you were reminded to bring. So I want you to take your pencil and do something for me. We're going to mark heartbeats in the song. So I will show you what I mean by that. So let me do a couple here. I don't want you to mark anything yet until you see what I'm doing. So I remembered that TT gets 1 heartbeat because Little Monster TT had to take 2 steps to Big Monster's ta, and ta equals a heartbeat, doesn't it? So I just drew 1 heartbeat. And I know that's sometimes hard and confusing because there's 2 notes, but it's only 1 heartbeat. So 1 heartbeat over each TT, and of course there's not a note there. That's not a note. And then when you have ta, 1 heartbeat. So I want you to take your pencil and I want you to mark the heartbeats on that line. So not on the first line, but on the second line. And I'm going to finish marking mine right now. So if you need more time to mark the heartbeats, you just go ahead and pause it and do that. You know, if heartbeats are really hard or hearts are really hard for you to draw, you can draw circles. When you draw your circle, just make it about the same size as the heartbeat that I have here. So you don't want it to be great big. So try to keep it small, like the hearts are there, so that you can see exactly what notes it's supposed to go for to show that that's a heartbeat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sing it in so fa, and that means we're going to use the mi's, re's, and do's. So I want you to put your mi hands up like this. We're going to do this again. Okay? So let me do it for you once, and then I want you to do it after me. Mi, mi, re, re, do, do, re. Mi, re, do, do, do. Would you try it with me? Sit up tall and straight, remember. Don't scrunch your arms up against your sides, and don't put them on your knees. Sit up tall and straight so you can breathe properly. Here we go. Mi, mi, re, re, do, do, re. Mi, re, do, do, do. All right, so now let's go back to our pre-quarter, and we're going to see if we can read it in the music this time. So we did it in sections, but I think we're going to try to do this in chin position, the whole song. And I am going to trust that you're doing it on your chin and you're moving your fingers. Remember, this is what? Tell me. Mi. This is re. This is do. And where does this hand go? It goes at the bottom right here. And which hand goes on top? How do I know? It's because we have these special lines or stripes right here, and that shows us that our fingers need to be on the same side as those. They're like finger reminders. And our thumb is always covered in the back, isn't it? So I want you to put your pre-quarter in chin position, and I'm going to point on our music so that we can stay together that way. And I'm going to sing, and I want you to sing too and move your fingers. We're going to sing the mi, re, do words. Are you ready to do that? Chin position, remember. Here we go. Mi, mi, re, re, do, do, re. Mi, re, do, do, do. Let's try it again. Here we go. Mi, mi, re, re, do, do, re. Mi, re, do, do, do. We should try to play it now, don't you think? So I want you to play this time, and I'm going to point and see if we can all stay together. Are you ready to do that? Here we go. I want you to blow in your instrument this time. Here we go. Mi, mi, re, re, do, do, re. Mi, re, do, do, do. One more time, and then I'm going to play with you, and I'm not going to point. Are you ready? Here we go. Mi, mi, re, re, do, do, re. Mi, re, do, do, do. Okay, I'm going to play with you this time, so I'm not pointing. You can look at your music or you can watch me. We've done it so many times, you might even have it memorized. Here we go. Okay, so maybe it's not sounding like Miss Jackie yet. So let me give you some hints. So if your notes don't sound like mine, there might be a couple things you could do to help. So it might be that your thumb is not covering this hole, even though you think you are. Sometimes if you just put a piece of tape right over that hole, that will help with the rest of your fingers. So adults, if your child is struggling with this, you might try that. And after a few weeks, they probably won't need it. But sometimes that's the problem hole. And sometimes it's a different one. But the ones on top are a little easier to see. We're not ever going to uncover this one either. So you could also tape that one if you really want to. Another thing, students, I want to show you something. I'm going to have holy fingers. Are you ready? So I'm going to put my fingers right here on dough, and I'm going to press really hard because I really want to feel those holes underneath. And then I'm going to show you what my fingers look like. Look, can you see? Can you see that there are hole prints on my fingers? I have holy fingers. Now you try that. Put your pre-quarter in chin position. Cover your thumb and all of those 3 holes on top. Remember, it's your left hand, the same one that has the stripes on the side. Those are where your fingers are supposed to be. And press down really hard. And then look at your fingers and see if you have holy fingers. Now, when I did that, I didn't put my fingers like that, did I? No, because then I wouldn't have holes right here. So this is where your fingers need to be to cover the holes so that you have holy fingers. And that's the goal, to be able to fill those holes underneath so that you know if you really have them covered. Now, last time we listened to Somi and the Monster, and I want us to listen to Somi and the Monster one more time.
Music Stories for Juniors by Stuart Manners. Number 10, Somi and the Monster. I know a story about a monster, said Mrs. Clapham. Her class sat up and listened. Is it a taniwha? Asked Hone. You'll have to wait and see, she replied. There was a great big monster who had very large feet. Extra large feet. Feet like hunks of meat. It had a great big body, 'cause it used to eat and eat. Large feet, long legs, wide chest, thick neck, all held up by its feet, by its very large feet. But is it a taniwha? Asked Hone again. Maybe. It's just what you want it to be. Perhaps it is a taniwha. We'll call it Ta for short. When the monster Ta was on the move, it walked steadily and firmly. It never ran. It seldom stopped. What about when it saw a whortleberry bird it wanted to eat? It would slide out its 3 flaming tongues and flick the whortleberry bird into its mouth. Monster Ta always walked. What about if its pants caught on fire? Said Tai. It always walked, it never ran. What about if a fast car came towards it when it was crossing the road? Said Kiri. It always walked over the crossing. It never ran. The bell rang before Mrs. Clapham had time to finish her story. Walk like monsters, don't run, she said, as the children left the classroom. Outside, Somi and his friends pretended to be monsters. Left, right, ta, 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 ta. Maybe the monster was like an enormous ant, walking ever so softly, suggested Renee. All the children pretended to be enormous ants walking softly. Maybe the monster was like an oversized elephant walking ever so loudly, suggested La Somi. All the children walked loudly like oversized elephants. After play, the children told Mrs. Clapham what they had been doing. Some of the class made ant monsters, and some of the class made elephant monsters. Under the monsters that walked softly, she wrote, Ant monster, because in music, P means soft. Under the elephant monsters that walked loudly, she wrote, Ant monster, because in music, F means loud. Is there any more to the story? The children asked. Oh, yes. I haven't told you about the little monster yet. Monster Tar was often seen with a little monster following behind. The little monster trotted all the time. It never walked. It always jogged. Whenever the little monster trotted beside Tar, it took 2 steps to Tar's 1. Tar called the little monster Tate, but Tate was too small to say its name. It said Titi instead. Ta, 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 tate, tate, titi, tate, tate, titi, titi. On a big walk, it didn't take long before the little monster was panting and very tired. Didn't Tate ever walk? Asked Lami. No, not even when it wasn't in a hurry. What about when it had a sore leg? Mrs. Clapham said that sometimes Tate had to stop for a rest, but it still trotted when Tar walked. What about when it was very, very tired? Said Tammy, who was still getting her breath back from trotting round the classroom. As long as Tate could move, it always went. I want to be a taniwha, said Honi. I want to be a woozleberry bird, said Renee. I want to be a ant, whispered Tai. I want to be an elephant, called out Somi. I want to be Tate and go tee-tee, said Lami. I just want to be myself, said Kiri. So they all were what they wanted to be until lunchtime.
We have really learned a lot today and done a lot, haven't we? It's been so fun to play our pre-quarter. Remember that you need to practice at least 3 different days, and you can practice more than that for sure. Matter of fact, if you want to be really successful, you probably should practice more than 3 times. And now I'm going to sing goodbye to you, and we're going to do this at the end of every lesson. So I want you to listen carefully, and then I'm going to get you to sing it back to me. So it'll be my turn, and then it'll be your turn. Goodbye, it's time to go. Sing it back. See you next time.